Hey, Sasha, the options coach, and I wanted to share with you some insight. If you're trying to find hot stocks to sell covered calls on or do the wheel strategy on and make some consistent form of income in the markets, and you've been researching websites, maybe trade alert services, and even trading groups, and nothing has been working, you're not alone. I've seen it time and time again. I've coached over 390 people one-on-one for multiple months, right? I'm not talking about just 15 minutes calls here and there. I've worked with individuals over the last decade and I've seen what works and what doesn't. And when you go in to these websites, whether it's a trading group, trade alert service, research websites, there's a lot of friction that happens between you and the feed or the feed of information. For example, your skill set might be different. Your management style might be different. And all of these things don't create a way for you to really spot and find the right trades for you because it's not in alignment for your personal needs. So what I've done is created a little worksheet that you could go through and find your own hot stock candidates to trading the wheel strategy or selling covered calls against, depending on your style and kind of risk tolerance. So if you're interested in getting that, just write, I want it down below and you can go ahead and grab it absolutely free. Now I want to share with you a little bit of that insight. So there's a few big issues that go along with this. For example, if you're using like a trading group or trade alert website, or even just researching things online, there's a lot of differences that go between you and the feed or the information that happens. And one of those things is the risk. So if you are a person with, let's say, a risk tolerance of 3, but the feed website is doing something with a risk tolerance of 6, all of a sudden, when trades are starting to move against you, you might feel, unhappy, sad, or kind of like, hey, I'm worried this trade's going to go against me, and you're going to get out of the trade. And all of a sudden, there's not alignment that goes with that service. And now that's why you're not making money. In the same time, as far as time horizon, even if you're doing covered calls, sometimes calls expire or you lose, let's say, the stock. So your time horizon, you might be looking at things, hey, I got to make money in the next 30 days, but that website might be looking at things 60 or 90 days, even though they are feeding you things for a trade that might be 30 days in length, which is what you think, but they are planning and budgeting for that trade for multiple iterations. It might be then 60, 90 days or even longer. And we're looking at things further out. That also could mean the capital size is different as well, because now you're thinking more longer term or shorter term. And the schedule, well, based on that, similar concept where, hey, you might go in and put trades on a Monday or Tuesday, or you might get on at, 9:30 in the morning Eastern, and they might do things more in the 1 p.m. Afternoon. So you're all of a sudden getting into it in a different price. Skill set, same thing. Management style. Let's say you've got 200 shares and now you sell 2 calls. Well, what if they have a portfolio margin account and they're actually able to have 200 shares but sell 4 contracts against it? And now all of a sudden they're bringing in more premium for a position that might be going against them in order to hedge off that risk. So again, different level, different skill set, and all of a sudden it's completely not the same way that you would trade. Okay. And then finally, management style. Okay. Maybe you like to take half off as you're making some profits, and they don't like to do that. Maybe they let things expire. And you might say, well, I'm going to try to push things to expiration in the same way that they do. Well, all of a sudden, that's not you. If you're artistic, you like to draw, you like to paint, you like to do artsy stuff. And if you're more mathematical, you like to be more mathematical. And that's just a little bit of the nature of it. Can you fine tune those things? Yeah, you can. But at the beginning, it's very difficult and it's not in alignment. So all of these things create a lot of friction, especially at the beginning when you're learning to trade and trying to make things work. So in either case, these are some of the issues. And if you want to be able to find things on your own, you want to be able to find, hey, the tradable candidates that actually work for you specifically, then I highly encourage you to just grab the worksheet that I've got. You can then find your own trades, find your own, vehicles for trading covered calls, and be able to filter through those things. So that way you don't have to rely on anybody else, and it matches your personal needs. And some of it beyond that is just looking at the criteria and understanding the criteria, because just like in a restaurant, you wouldn't have somebody else picking your food or your plate for you. Say, hey, I want that guy to choose my dinner. And, sometimes it works, but most of the time it's not a match. And that's the same with these trade alert services, trading groups, and those kinds of things, because it's just not a fit. So if you want it, just write down below saying, hey, I want it, and I'll send it to you absolutely free. Thanks for joining me, and maybe I'll see you next time. Take care.